Hello everybody. We are back with another stream, and today we're just going to be doing some pre-race chat. Basically, it's 2 hours until the start. It's lights out at the Brazilian Grand Prix, so basically we're just going to be hanging around here and get some pre-race chat going, and hopefully it's all good. And we will be bringing all of the build-up to the race. Here we go. So let's quickly rename the stream. There we go. So you got the build up. There we go. Brilliant. Cool. So hopefully we're going for a bit here, and yeah, we're gonna bring all of the latest news ahead of the race. So we're gonna give a quick rundown quickly of what's going on. So obviously everyone, I assume, watched or knows the results of the sprint races yesterday. But we have the track map here. We've got the 2 DRS zones, which should make overtaking a breeze, as Lewis Hamilton proved yesterday. Will we see later on today a change in the standings? For the... Oh, I didn't actually put... Okay, well, I've slightly messed up there. You see, this is all very on the bounce. Apparently, Red Bull just doesn't exist. It's just P2. That's it. But yeah, basically, anything that's going on anywhere at all. Anyone got any predictions? Any talking points ahead of the race that they want to talk about? Obviously, we have some as well, but... anything that you want to see or just talk about in general before the race, because we've got 2 hours now until it is lights out for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Good afternoon. Hello, James. How are you doing? Yeah, here we go. So we'll start off with the sprint results. So here we go. We've got Valtteri Bottas after winning. Actually, I was quite surprised in the end in the sprint. I did think that the mediums would come into their own and Verstappen would be able to take the lead, but at the end of the day, I think they decided there's no point risking it, because if it were to go wrong, if something were to go wrong, then that would be, a big advantage that Verstappen should be getting completely lost. So, I think they sort of thought better of that. It'll be kind of hard, but hoping for an exciting race. I honestly see Red Bull winning with Max then Bottas. I can see the top 3 being, I think, Verstappen, Hamilton, then Bottas. Yeah, exactly the same with the F1 guy. I feel like that's what it's going to be, because if that sprint race went on any longer, obviously they're going to be on different tyres today, but if the sprint race went on any longer, we'd have seen Verstappen undercut Bottas, and then I assume take the lead of the race. So just make sure everything's going on okay. Yeah, I think it's good on stream end. Thank you, Presto. I don't think Lewis will be able to overtake as easy as yesterday, because he was behind many slow cars, but that's not be ruling out Hamilton's skills. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Lewis today. He's got a higher caliber of cars to pass, but that Mercedes with the fresh engine looks very strong when the car in front doesn't have DRS. The DRS does seem to be quite strong. What else are we seeing? Max, Bottas, Lewis. Yeah, I can see that being the order, but I do think they'd swap Bottas and Lewis around. Hammer time, absolutely. Is championship over yet for you? Honestly, I think we have to wait till the end of this race. If Hamilton can somehow beat Verstappen, then the championship is very much still on. Because what track is it? Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi should be more favourable for the Mercedes. So they need a 1-2 somewhere. Maybe a 1-2 today. That's what it would take. Hello, I reckon Lewis is going to use that engine to the max to the max and has a chance. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Max Verstappen. Engine to the max and has a chance at winning. Yeah, absolutely. If the strategy's played right at Mercedes, it's not completely out of the question. He is starting P10. So, but let's look at the rest of the sprint race. So Verstappen P2, so obviously picking up 2 points for himself, and Carlos Sainz doing very well to jump Perez. Of course, using the soft tyres at the start to his advantage. And Perez just unable to pass the Ferrari, which I thought was quite interesting as well, actually. James said I'd love to see Verstappen win, but I can only see Lewis win. Yeah, fair enough. I can't see Lewis winning the race, really. I just think he's going to lose too much time battling the cars to get himself in that position. Do you think the Red Bulls can go to the rest of the season without an engine change? Honestly, they seem to be quite confident, and the people at Honda seem quite confident, so I'm going to say yes, simply based on the fact that they seem pretty sure of themselves. And I'd love to see Verstappen win. Yep. Championship's far from over, though. Depends on next race. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Qatar should be a Red Bull track, but all it takes is a retirement, and there it is. It's it's completely open again. I know the sprint was different, but considering Lewis was only 20 seconds off lead after 24 laps with passing, I do think Lewis will gain on Max at the halfway mark. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the latter half, once we get onto the second stint, it's going to become really close. And I think it will be Hamilton chasing down Bottas and Verstappen. Question is, how much time is he going to lose? Is he going to be able to pass through the field as quickly and with as much ease as last time? If he can get a good start and jump a couple of cars, if he's P8 by turn 3, you know, he can absolutely go on to win the race, no challenge at all. But if he bogs down a little bit off the start, ends up P13 somewhere like that, I think that is it. I'm just going to quickly tweet out the link to this stream because I realise I haven't done that, so I'll quickly do that now. Going live with some pre-race chat and build up. There we go. I've even put a happy emoji at the end. Right, okay, so I've just got that out. So what's going on here? We got a couple of see. My personal opinion is what's going to happen is Max is going to undercut Valtteri and Lewis ends up with P2. That's what I imagine is going to happen. Actually, saying as well, I'm quite curious. What did people think of the sprint race? Are you a little bit more keen on the format now than you were, let's say, yesterday? Let's see. If Verstappen overtakes Bottas during the start, he will win. Yep, he will. I can't see anything else happening if he does pass. Hamilton will not have a chance in clean air. In clean air, Ham will not have 1 second faster advantage over. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's going to be really hard for him to catch even in clean air. It's going to be really hard to catch. Why is Qatar supposed to be a Red Bull track? Well, it doesn't have very many long straights, and it's much more of a chassis track, which tends to, over the past few years, help Red Bull. But, you know, we've said that a couple of times coming into races this season, which should be a Red Bull track, should be a Mercedes track, and it just hasn't been, so... his drive yesterday was phenomenal. 2 or 3 more laps and he would have caught Perez. Yeah, absolutely. I think he would have got Sainz and Perez quite comfortably if there was a couple more laps in that race. So you enjoyed it? I don't mind sprint races. I like the sprint weekends. I enjoyed it. Verstappen has the inside because of the grid light. Yeah, absolutely. So Bottas, you know, he's got a job on his hands today to keep him behind. The sprint race yesterday was more entertaining than the race at Monaco. Yeah, that's not hard. But yes. It was a lot better yesterday, but there needs to be some changes, maybe specific tyres or top 10 reverse grid. Yeah, I put out a tweet this morning at VSG_beacon if any of you fancy following. You don't need to do that. So my idea for the sprint actually, I'll bring it up on the stream actually. I have got another page that I'll look at quick, so I'll go quickly in studio mode. I'll be 1 second just to bring it up so I can display my screen. Okay. Oh, it's being annoying on me now. It's being annoying. See, OBS is a great system until it's not, and it becomes really annoying. Right. Okay, here we go. So I'll quickly pull this over. There you go. So this was my idea for a format. I was just sort of thinking this morning what could be done. I think Lando Norris actually about the same time agreed. I saw an article come out. So my idea for a sprint weekend would be FP1 60 minutes or 90 minutes, depending on how much practice the teams really want. I just think they'd be more inclined to go for 60 minutes because of less running. And then you have qualifying Friday evening, same as we do now, Q1, 2, 3, original format, and that sets the grid for Sunday. Then on Saturday, we've got a one-shot qualifying, so each driver goes out one at a time and sets 1 lap to set the grid for the sprint race. Sprint race is extended to 45 minutes long using the previous 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 format. So this separates the sprint race from the actual race because we saw yesterday a lot of comments from drivers saying that they weren't a massive fan of taking a risk and trying to get an overtake done. So and then yeah, race normal format with the Friday set grid on Sunday. I think that's I know for me that seems like a good format that could work. What are we seeing in the chat? Yeah, it was a lot better yesterday, but there needs to be some check. Yeah. What type of strategy do you think the teams will choose, considering they start on hard and the soft tyre can hold at least 24 laps? Yeah, that's going to be really interesting today. The strategy is going to be a big one, because we could see, because Red Bull know if they get past Bottas at the start, they should go on to win that race comfortably. What if they go for the softs and Bottas goes for the mediums, a reverse of yesterday? Because they know it should be enough to get them off the grid well and, you know, make the move. Just one practice session probably won't be enough. No, absolutely. But, you know, the second practice session now isn't really doing a lot. It is another practice session, but I don't think it's particularly useful. And actually, someone did suggest if we want to put some more practice time in, to do, before the one-shot qualifying, do a half-hour practice session. Because obviously, this way it works quite well, because the teams aren't doing any extra running, really. You know, they get the half-hour practice where it will just be, you know, flat out all the cars on track all the time. And then they do one extra lap. So it makes the broadcast longer, meaning we get to enjoy more F1. But the teams also aren't doing an excessive amount of running. Yeah, it is meant to be much hotter today, so the softs will degrade a lot more and overheat. There'll be more issues. You keep appearing in my YouTube recommended. Good job. Thank you, YouTube. They've been very nice to me recently. The problem with the one shot is rain and track evolution. Yeah, you know, obviously it's a problem based on fairness, but it's pretty exciting. And considering it would only set the result for the sprint race, that race then has less weighting on the championship order. And it should just make those races a lot more interesting. Maybe if we have like a sprint championship in itself that, you know, has a big prize pot at the end of it. You know, something along those lines. Just to basically encourage something a little bit different. Because I think that's what sprint's trying to be, but it doesn't feel any different at the moment. It just feels like the same thing. Same thing that we sort of see in a race. It's just 1/3 of a race. Yeah, after top 10, do you guys really care about the sprint? Exactly, you know, that's the thing. Podium prediction. For me, the top 3 today is probably going to be Verstappen, Hamilton, then Bottas. I doubt anyone will go softs yet, meant to be much hotter. FP2 is mostly for race pace and long fuel runs. Yeah, we saw that yesterday, but I don't particularly think the teams learnt a lot from it. It wasn't a necessary run. FP1, you get your qualifying run in, you make sure all of the components on the car are working, you can get an eye in for the track. The FP2 run isn't necessary too much. I think Ham may even start on the hard tire. Yeah, potentially, yeah. Do you think there could be a Hamilton Verstappen crash? Well, there's statistically a 100% chance of them crashing from the sprint races so far, so it's a certainty they're going to crash. I can't see it though. I can't see them meeting on track today, unfortunately, because it'd be a great race. My bet is Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's by far the best bet. I think reverse grid for the sprints would be fun. I'd like to see it, especially with next year's cars, because you have to bear in mind, next year the cars are going to be a lot easier to overtake with. Hopefully, if the regulation changes have worked. I'm going to quickly go back to this one. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, 71 laps today. Yeah. But yeah, so that I think we've pretty much covered most of the stuff from the sprint for the most part. So I'm just going to have a quick drink. Okay, there we go. Other stuff that's quite interesting from the sprint, obviously the Alfa Romeo's colliding. That's not something you want to see. I don't think Kimi too pleased with that one. Lando pipping Leclerc as well. That was pretty good to see from a McLaren point of view. That could be pretty important in the race as well. If Verstappen wins with Hamilton second, then Ver has a 28-point lead, more than a victory, absolutely. But a DNF in Qatar, I think, if Max doesn't score in Qatar and Hamilton wins, even with a 28-point lead, I think that does give the championship to Lewis. I respect Hamilton, but don't think he can be in the podium. I mean, I don't know, it depends how long he's stuck behind Perez. Lewis can win. Yeah, Lewis can win, I suppose. I just don't see it personally. But he's definitely capable of winning. He put in a brilliant performance yesterday. How do you think Sainz will do? I think there's a decent chance Sainz could end up P4. For sure. It depends how much risk Perez is going to take this time out in the race, because obviously he didn't want to do it in the sprint, so we don't really know if he could have got past. Sainz P4, P5. I think P4. Sainz attacks Verstappen. Well, yeah, the thing is, if Ferrari go aggressive on the start again, we could easily see a repeat of yesterday. Lewis was only a sec behind Perez. Yeah, he was. He caught up massively. And he would have had him in a couple more laps. But that was... it wasn't even tyre dependent, really. But I just don't see it being as easy today. I don't know. It probably will be. I just can't see him winning. Pit stops Khashoggi, I think, yeah, good strategy from Mercedes could very much hand Lewis P2 or the win. If Perez clears signs quickly, it will make life a lot harder for Hamilton. Yeah, it will. Because if Perez is stuck behind signs at the start, still his tyres are going to overheat more. Everything's going to overheat. He'll have to drop back a bit, might lose DRS. And then if Hamilton closes in at that point, it's going to be a breeze. We saw how powerful that Mercedes engine is. You know, it's fresh components. Very, very strong. Lewis has a good shot at winning. After that drive yesterday, there is a possibility. No stop screw-ups, yeah. I hope Perez would overtake Sainz in the first left turn. You know, potentially. I think that's really important for Perez's race and the Constructors' battle, actually. Because if he's stuck behind Sainz, then I see Hamilton beating him quite comfortably. I don't really care for anyone else. I just want Bottas to win. Yeah, this is a good chance for Bottas today. He really does need to show that he can do it. It's a really good chance. Already 72 of you, and we're not even an hour and 45 before the race start. Hello, everyone. Who would come last? Any predictions? I'm going to put money on Mazepin, really, based on pace. But, you know, any idea? Any idea what the weather's like for the race? It's meant to be, you know, let's bring it up. Let's bring up the weather. So we'll look at the weather for Interlagos. It's meant to be sunny and hot today, but I'll actually just show you all. Oh, how's this gonna work? Try to get the tabs to go together. How's that? There we go. Does that work? I think that works. That works. Okay, right, here we go. So there's the weather for today. It's going to be a lot hotter than it has been in previous days. You know, we're looking at, when the race starts, about 21 degrees Celsius, which is an improvement on the last couple of days. So that means, you know, a little bit more wear in the race. Tyres probably going to play a slightly bigger factor. I'll leave that up for a little bit. I think Yuki can score minor points today. Yeah, you know, that AlphaTauri does seem to have some pace at the moment. If he can get some good result out of it, absolutely. Sainz gets towed from Bottas. Yeah, it's not a long run down to the first corner though, so I don't think that's going to play too much of a part. I think it's going to be mostly dependent on tyres, because we will see a split strategy in the top bunch. I think Lewis will be P7 after the first lap. Yeah, absolutely possible. Like I said before, if he can get himself up into P7, he could absolutely win the race. But if he finds himself down in P13 at the end of the first lap, I think there's absolutely no chance at all. The start's the most important part. For Hamilton, he needs to be very aggressive today, I think. Well, it's most likely Ver and Bott will both start on mediums, probably won't overtake. Yeah, you know, we'll have to see. Slipstream can play a part down a long straight to turn 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn 4, yeah. A bit hotter, better for Red Bull and Honda. I expect Gasly to be 4th potentially now. Yeah, you know, Gasly, he had a bad start in sprint race, and that's what let him down. So, you know, potentially he could be in for a good result if he can just have a better start. We have incredible pace in straight line. I assume you're talking about Mercedes, because that's your profile picture. 50-50, Ham gets caught up in something starting from P10. Yeah, that's one of the most risky places to start on the grid. You do often see something there. So Hamilton, he has to play it safe, but also be aggressive, because he needs to gain positions. It's vital. If Hamilton is 7th after first lap, I see him winning. Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat there. If he can get himself up into P7, I think he'll win the race. But if he's, you know, between P9 to P13, 14, I can't see it. Have I seen the Hamilton sprint yesterday? Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant drive. Lewis isn't used to starting in the midfield. No, he's not. But, you know, he's proven that he can do it. He started in the midfield plenty of times in his career, and he's done fairly well. While I've taken Gasly, he was 24 kilometers an hour. Well, yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Absolutely flew past the AlphaTauri. Mazepin has a really good chance to win the race if everybody retires. Not wrong. Mind you, that requires him finishing the race as well, so we'll see if he struggles with that part. I think I might open the poll on who's going to win. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's have the poll going. So, who will win the race? Hopefully, we haven't got a load of drama like after qualifying. I don't think I can do another 6 hours of streaming in 24 hours. But I don't think Hamilton will be caught up. If anything, because he's great at positioning himself to not be instanced. Yeah, he did very well, you know. We saw the line he was taking at turn 1. around the outside. It was very, very smart. Got 4 cars off the line. So, how many Grand Prix have I attended? I've only ever been to Silverstone for the Grand Prix. So 2012, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 21. So I've done 8 Grand Prix in person. Lando P1, I've got fingers crossed for that. I would love to see that. Then through the corners, he gets close on next straight, tires overheat, and you can't really follow anymore. Yeah, that's an issue with these regs. They're just they're not good. So right, we're gonna we'll do it in grid order. So we've got Bottas as first option, then Verstappen, then we've got realistically Hamilton's then the third most likely, and we'll chuck in Perez just in case Bottas and Verstappen crash or something. I don't know. So there we go. There's your poll. So get voting on who you think is going to win the race. Silverstone is great when in 2017-19. Yeah, I absolutely love Silverstone. It's a brilliant place to be. What if Ricciardo hits a Merc again like last time, considering he starts behind Hamilton? Yeah, I mean, if Ricciardo can get on the brakes a little bit sooner this time, I think he'll have a slightly better race himself. There's no one better than Lewis coming through the pack. Mazepin one more year. Same as at Silverstone, I was at Cops when the Hamilton Verstappen crash happened, but I was in a place where I couldn't really see. Oh no, that would be so annoying. Yeah, I was sitting at Woodcut, so we could just about see the contact as they were going down the straight to Cops. Mazepin to pole. I'm not adding Mazepin to the pole. That is categorically not happening. So yeah, it seems a bit neck and neck between Hamilton and Verstappen. Not a lot of you thinking Bottas has too much of a chance, interestingly. Can I get my Discord? I can find my Discord if you want. My Twitter's at @VSG_beacon. My DMs are open. I can, if you want to send me a message, just get in contact that way. I think it's the best one. Only been to Hungary 2013. I'd love to go to the Hungary track. I'd love to go to Budapest and see that. That's one that I really do want to go to, along with Austria, actually. I'd quite like to go to Austria as well. It seems just like a beautiful place. Lewis has so much control in the car, even in dirty air. Also, that move on Lando was insane. Yeah, I think Lando went to defend it and then realised basically, there's no point, and B, well, there's no point because he's too quick, but it's also a bit of a risk as well. What else have we seen? Lewis has so much control car. Oh yeah, you've seen that one. I was in Beckett's grandstand last time I went to a Grand Prix. Incredible to watch from there, especially in qualifying. Yeah, I always make sure to go to Beckett's for qualifying. It's a brilliant place to watch from. You really do see the cars at their best. The quick turning is crazy. Prefer track or on TV. It's good for excitement being there, but so much better on TV. I've worked Silverstone a few times. Felt like I didn't watch a race. Yeah, it depends where you are. I was as long as you have a screen in front of you and any form of radio, you can cover it really well. Let's just head back to. I appreciate I'm still showing the weather, so I'm just going to go back to the other screen. There we go. Yeah, it depends where you're sitting, really. I normally have a radio going at the same time, so I can sort of get live commentary. I do prefer it at the track, I think. Really expensive, though. Incredibly expensive. I think Max will pass Bottas on the same tyre. It's potential. I think it's more likely to be in an undercut, though, to be fair. Yeah, been to Austria this year. Yeah, well, Styria, yeah. Yeah, I know. I do really want to go there at some point. That's on the old bucket list. The build-up is starting now. Yeah, it is. We have got the build-up for the race. Verstappen wins, Bottas second, Gasly on the podium again. It's potential. Norris third. I would love to see that. This time, no, sadly. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Sorry, can you type out your Twitter? Yeah, I'll put it in the... There we go. Put it in the chat for you. Any shout for Sainz podium? You know, it's absolutely possible. I don't think it's on pure pace though. It would rely on one of the top guys retiring. But a Ferrari podium today is definitely on the cards. They had some decent pace. Any shout for Sainz podium? Not quite. Right, okay, so I did actually work on this. I think this is quite cool. It's not the best thing in the world, but I think this is quite cool. We have the grid as well. So Bottas on pole ahead of Verstappen. So that'll be interesting for Verstappen with the inside line, of course. Then we've got Sainz and Perez, P3 and P4. Sainz did really well in the sprint, to be fair, as did Norris to get past Leclerc and Gasly. So he can't be too fussed at all. Gasly as well, P7. He didn't have a great start in the sprint, so that's not how numbers work. 8 is meant to be Ocon. Oh, it was nearly so good. That's what I get for doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning. 9th place Vettel and 10th place Hamilton as well. So Lewis starting P10. If he can get past Vettel, Ocon and Gasly early on, he should be in a pretty good stead for the race, because I think he can overtake the other cars ahead of him. Then we've got Ricciardo P11. So like we've said in chat before, a McLaren starting just behind a Mercedes again. With Alonso P12, Giovinazzi P13 after contact with his teammates. So it's really what could have been for Alfa Romeo, because, of course, Raikkonen was right up there with Giovinazzi as well. Stroll P14, he's recovered from a pretty poor qualifying, made up 2 places. Tsunoda P15, it's going to be a hard ask for him to get points, but that's going to be the goal. Latifi, again out qualifying Russell, staying ahead of him. So Russell not having a great weekend here in Sao Paulo. And then 18th Raikkonen, 19th Schumacher, and in P20 is Nikita Mazepin. Yeah, very expensive. That's why I work there. Yeah, fair enough. You're right. You've actually worked there. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Sent me a message on Twitter. I'll quickly read that in a sec. Bottas might defend hard against Verstappen for once. I don't know. Bottas's racecraft sometimes seems to be a bit of a mystery, because he sort of turns it on and off. Do you think there'll be carnage like Hungary? I can't see there being too much carnage, to be fair. I can't really see it being too dramatic. Not as dramatic, at least. Is P2 arguably better on the grid? It depends how late you are braking. If you want to be really brave with it, I think so, if you get a decent start. Bottas should have finished second in the sprint to use the same acceleration tactic today. Yeah, I just think they were trying to steal as many points off of Red Bull as possible, really. Because the goal today is going to be to hold up Verstappen for as long as Valtteri possibly can. How much better is Russell than Latifi? I think he's quite a bit better in general, but race pace is a lot closer. Qualifying pace, I think he's definitely clear. Well, the statistics prove he's definitely clear. But in the race pace, I think it's a little bit closer. Bottas has finished second. Or is he starting on hard tyre? Honestly, we don't know with the tyres. That's what's going to be really interesting. He jumped. Yeah, he did jump Max because of the softs. He got the good grip early on. Same story with Sainz. He was able to jump Max early on with the soft tyres as well. They're just in the operating window a lot sooner. I'm calling it now Mazepin's spin turn 1. Verstappen is in winning mood. He absolutely is, and he could be about to win the championship technically. Just by pulling out a great gap. Depends what Hamilton's able to do. He needs to avoid damage today, Lewis. Absolutely. Latifi doing well. Mazepin too dangerous for F1. I don't think Mazepin's too dangerous for F1. I think he's just slow. He's not like an active danger to people. Hello, Humptink. I'm not being ratioed in my own chat. No one go with the ratio. But yeah, we haven't got long now to go. I'm just reading a message I was sent on Twitter from one of you, so just quickly see if that's anything. Okay, yeah, website for the weather. Oh yeah, no, that's useful. Thank you. So yeah, basically, any other thoughts that anyone's got going into the race? Any predictions? Anything a little bit bold out there that we were expecting? Because for me, I see this being one of the more comfortable races for the Mercedes, as long as Bottas really does have the race pace. But the question is going to be, does he have the consistent race pace to beat Verstappen? Because the undercut potential for Verstappen was there yesterday. If that sprint race was any longer, Verstappen would have done the undercut. What happened to Leclerc yesterday? He didn't have a fantastic start. In general, it wasn't a brilliant race for him. And then Lando just got past. Really good move, actually, down into turn 4 around the outside, I think it was. So, yeah, brilliant move. It was pretty impressive how fast Red Bull is, although Verstappen couldn't get close enough to overtake Bottas on DRS. He was on steering when he came too close. Yeah, and, that's the issue. These aero regs just never get me started on them because I'm not a fan at all. I mean, Verstappen, Mazepin being unaware of what's around, I don't think is strictly his fault. I think it's lack of communication between himself and race engineers. I don't think they do their job particularly well for him. I see this being Red Bull 1-2. Well, potentially. It depends what Bottas gets up to in the race and if Perez can pass Sainz quickly. The pit stops are going to win it for Merckx. I imagine so, or it's going to win it for Red Bull, depending really who's P1 and P2. I just see the undercut being really powerful because it absolutely should be. Yeah, I think the effect of the undercut is very, very strong. Following with these regs is a disaster in the last... Look, these regs, full stop, are a disaster. I've not liked them for the last 4 years or however long we've actually had them. Absolutely not a fan. Really looking forward to next year because hopefully it will just fix the issues that we've seen. We're gonna get better closer racing, and if they separate the sprint format the sprint race from the actual main format event, then the sprint races could be brilliant. I reckon Verstappen will really struggle behind Bottas, and Bottas will be told to try to hold Verstappen up. Then Hamilton will get a really good start and make up those places early on. Yeah, very much potential as well. That's the interesting thing at the moment. Anyone could win this race. We do genuinely have 3 drivers who can win this race. Either Bottas can win it. I don't think Perez or Sainz are in with a shout of winning it. Unless Bottas and Verstappen collide early on. 1 Ver, 2 Lewis, 3 Bottas, 4 Gasly, 5 Sainz, 6 Perez. I was going to say maybe Lando in the top 6, but I don't know really. I don't think their race pace is brilliant. It could get hard podium for Hamilton, but it doesn't if he doesn't overtake at least Gasly, Ocon and Vettel in the first 1 to 5 laps. Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, realistically, at the end of lap 1, if he's up there... I mean, I don't know. If he's up there in P7, P8, then he could definitely go on to win the race. But if he falls back anywhere or gets stuck behind a fast car, that is his race over. He just can't afford to lose time because the field spread is so strong in Formula 1. From Max's point of view, he just needs to finish ahead of Lewis. Yeah, Max doesn't even need to push for the win. He's got a good championship lead. He just needs to finish ahead of Lewis. No risks, and just take any advantage he can get. If Verstappen and Bottas collide, the crowd will go wild. Yeah, they absolutely will. That I was surprised to see Verstappen actually getting so many boos and stuff. I mean, obviously, it's hardly his home race, but yeah, obviously the Senna connection helping Hamilton with fans quite a bit, I imagine. If Verstappen and Bottas collide, yep, the crowd would go. I'd go wild. That'd be absolutely mental. And then I think Hamilton, Sainz, or Perez would win the race from that point if they collide. We could see a situation again where we have Hamilton chasing down a Ferrari for a win. My Discord is absolutely exploding at the moment. I'm just going to have a quick check on that. Okay, that's all good. Let's have a quick look at the poll whilst we go. So we've got 50 votes in the poll, and we see Bottas only on 16%, so not a lot out there for Bottas, not a lot of faith being put in the Mercedes number 2. Verstappen 52%, Hamilton 29%, and 4% for Perez. I like the optimism for Perez, I do like that. Because it's very much possible, if something goes wrong for the top guys, then, it's within the realms of reality to see a Perez win. I think a lot of people would like to see a Perez win, definitely. I'd like to see one at some point in the Red Bull. Or, again, in the Red Bull. I don't know how I'd vote on this, to be honest, on this poll. It's quite a difficult one. Because, like I say, it's genuinely a three-way fight. For me, Bottas is so inconsistent. He's a really inconsistent driver, and that's, I think, where a lot of his issues have come from. Sometimes he can turn it on and be great and genuinely beat Lewis in qualifying, but then other times he's just nowhere. Like he was half a second away from Hamilton in the qualifying lap. Don't forget that Lewis was 5/10 clear of him in qualifying, and since we now know it's 0.2 millimeters that rear wing gap was too big, Hamilton gained at most a couple of thousandth over the course of a lap, maybe 100th max. That's it. Nowhere near a tenth. I reckon there'll be a safety car after first lap. I don't know. I can't see there being a safety car really. I was talking to some people yesterday, and I was like, I don't know. I just can't see there being a safety car this week. Lewis might need a safety car if he can get through a couple of cars at the start. He might need a safety car just to close up the grid. If Lewis gets a win, the momentum is in the Merc side. Yeah, absolutely. But like we say, that could swing as we head to Qatar, because that should theoretically be a bit more of a Red Bull track. So that's why it's so important for Hamilton today to get a good result, keep himself within a 25-point margin of Max, and it's so important at the moment. 0.2 millimeters is not even 1,000. I don't know. It might be over. It might be just over 1,000. But we're not looking at a lot at all. Like we're really talking small margins. Maybe a couple of thousandths. It's basically Lewis fans voting for him just for fun. I mean, I don't know. It's a realistic shout. It's definitely possible. It's not too outlandish. It just needs to be a great race, and probably the race of his career. Lando win would be so good. Don't want him to end up like Daniel as a nearly man. Yeah, he's got many more years. I think he's going to be more of a Jenson Button-esque driver. You give him the right car 1 year and he could win a title, but he's not going to be a Hamilton. I love Lando. I've said this in the stream yesterday, but I appreciate there's new people here now. Like I followed him since I watched him in a karting race years ago. So it's absolutely mental to see him in F1 in the first place. So, yeah, I mean, I can see him winning a championship, but he's not going to be like a Hamilton, Verstappen. Maybe just about Leclerc. Just about. I think Leclerc, Sainz, Norris are all sort of roughly the same level. I think Lewis will only win if something happens to Max. Yeah, potentially. Or if he gets held up behind Bottas for a long time. Yep. But if Max wins his GP and Lewis second, he can do like Rosberg and just come second in the last races and win. Yeah, that gives Max some brilliant power. And it means that Bottas needs to beat Verstappen in at least some of these races. That's what I mean. Mercedes need a 1-2 somewhere just to get some distance between them, between Hamilton and Max. And in the Constructors as well, because that's an incredibly tightly fought battle at the moment. It's a must-win for Lewis. That's the thing. He's under pressure this race. He absolutely is. And he tends to perform fairly well under pressure in the past. So, look, it's going to be a difficult one for the Brit, but it's definitely potentially there. It's not completely out of the question, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. It depends what happens lap 1. If he gets up to P7 lap 1, then it's absolutely on. He could go on to win the race. But if he's P10 or lower, I don't see it happening. It'll be P3. But if Max, and Perez can just pit in the last few laps and take away the fastest laps from Merc if they need to. Absolutely, because I think this is a throwaway race for Perez. He should have a good gap, at least a pit stop gap to the cars behind, but will probably be out of touching distance of the typical top 3 of Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton. I think Lewis can get fifth place, hopefully, because I think 5th place on the first lap's pretty optimistic. I think 7th at best, really, when we're speaking lap 1. But as we go on in the race, it could absolutely shift. If he could work his way up to, I imagine P5 by lap, or by lap 10, then I think he can still go on to win the race. If he's P5 by about lap 10, it's definitely possible, for sure. I think Lewis can get a 5th place. Bottas is great driver, beats Lewis in some sectors, even in qualifying, but Lewis just masters every turn and got more speed exiting turns. Yeah, you see, Bottas, like we said before, he's just not very consistent. On his day, he can absolutely beat Lewis, and he does a great job. But that's on his day, and his day doesn't tend to come too often, so... Yeah, it's a real challenge. It's something that he probably does need to work on to be a front running driver. That's what he's been missing over the course of the last few years since 2017. Will Lewis do a one stop, you reckon? You think it's possible? Yeah, I think hard to medium probably for Hamilton today, or medium to hard. Medium to get his way up through the grid at the start, then hard tyres just to basically run him dry to the end. The way Hamilton navigated his way through the pack yesterday was very skilled. From that, I'm sure he can do it again. P10 to P5 in 24 laps. P10 to P1 is very feasible. And I reckon it'll be P1 on lap 54. Oh, that's a bold call. I'd put a 50p bet on that or something. I think you'd get quite good odds. What are we saying? What do you think about the rivalry between Russell and Hamilton next season? That's going to be really interesting and a real talking point. Yeah, that's going to be one of I think it's going to be a pretty good rivalry, because we could see a Leclerc-Vettel situation where, you know, younger driver, up and coming, got a lot to prove, beating out a very experienced teammate. Who knows? He's got to make a name for himself, Russell. I don't think his race pace is quite as strong as his qualifying pace. So, and Lewis's race pace tends to be quite strong. So, you know, maybe he could out-qualify Lewis over the course of the season, but Lewis will outrace him and outscore him. P6 by lap 2, that's potentially, I'd say that's possible, absolutely. I think best case scenario is P6 by lap 2 without a crash ahead of him. It might get dirty. It could. You know, the closer we get to the end of this championship, there's a higher chance. You know, a couple of dirty tactics come into play. Will Bottas do the team thing if he's first after lap 1, or just go as fast as possible? After listening to his interview on F1, he's not really happy with Merc. I think he needs to appreciate that he's now out of contention for the championship. He's fighting for the team and. He's fighting for the Constructors Championship. That's his job now. He's hired for that team. He's got to put in the best performance he can for them. What else are we seeing? Will Honda leave Red Bull next year? Honda are leaving F1 next year, correct? Hey bro, hope you enjoy the race. Yeah, absolutely, thank you. I hope all of you guys enjoy the race as well. No rivalry next year for Merc. Russell will need time to adjust. Yeah, he will, but, you know, we saw Hamilton and Alonso actually. It could be more of a Hamilton-Alonso situation. Obviously, it's not Russell's first year in F1, but it's his first year in a competent car. Russell might not listen to James, and Bonham will try to fight. I don't know. I think George is much more likely to listen to race engineers, even than Valtteri, to be honest. I think he's very much happy to just sort of be in a situation where he can drive a Mercedes. What else have we got? Leclerc can definitely win multiple World Drive Championship. His battle with Verstappen and Silverstone in 2019 proves that was absolutely amazing. By the way, that was fantastic to watch. Proves he's on par with Max in racecraft, given a competitive car. Yeah, you know, he's got great racecraft, Charles, and he's got great pace as well. And I think Sainz, we've probably underestimated him because he was able to compete with Max in the Toro Rosso years. So, you know, Sainz is a very, very competent driver as well. I think you've got, realistically, I think Verstappen's going to be clear. I think once Hamilton goes, Verstappen's the best driver on the grid. And then you've probably got the likes of Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Sainz. Who else really are we looking at? Oh no, I've definitely missed out some driver. I think Alonso's still very much a competent driver. He's obviously not on their level anymore at his age, I don't think. But definitely was in his prime. I'd say he's better than him in his prime, but not anymore. Hello, Renolan. How are you doing? George, it's James. Yeah, we could be hearing some of that maybe if it's a close championship battle. I can't wait until we get to Abu Dhabi and I can do some 2022 predictions and stuff like that. That is going to be absolutely crazy. I think Russell will come second in the championship next year if the cars are roughly the same levels. Yeah, I think that's fair. Russell probably a step up on Bottas, but maybe not able to outscore Hamilton over the course of the season. Not do what Rosberg did. How many world championships do you think Max can win? Max is what, 24, I believe? About there, 24. He could be at F1 for the next 14 years. He's going to have a good car for that whole period. Realistically, easily 5 championships he's capable of winning. He's a brilliant driver. Pretty good mindset as well. He stamped out the mistakes and aggression that cost him earlier on in his career. Very, very good driver. What Right, what we're seeing. Danny Rick. Yeah, I had Ricciardo in my top 5 drivers on the grid until this season. He just hasn't been able to do it in the McLaren, and that's really surprised me, because I tweeted before the start of the season basically saying, look, I as a hardcore Lando fan, I can't see Lando beating him. Ricciardo's just such a strong, he's such a good driver. Max already is the best. Potentially, yeah. Potentially. How can we say what will happen next year just because Merc has been so good this year is unknown? Yeah, but look, Mercedes have very competent engineers, and the engine regs are staying the same, and they have a really strong engine. So, as long as they can make a competent, an aerodynamically okay car, they're still going to be up front. Or near the front, at least. Can't wait for next season. It's going to be Silver War again. I want those cars to go back to silver. I appreciate why they are black, but I really want those cars back to silver. That it just, whenever I see a picture of it now, I didn't realise how much I appreciated the silver car. But honestly, I do miss it now whenever I see a photo of it. Haas could be first. Well, potentially. They haven't developed this car at all, but I think their driver lineup will let them down. I don't think Mick Schumacher's strong enough. He was barely champion in a not very competitive Formula 2 grid, so... and Mazepin, I mean, well, we don't even need to go there, do we? Hamilton, Bono, my Valtteri is gone. As he gets overtaken by Russell around the outside. Sainz's start was just amazing. Yeah, it was on those soft tyres. He did absolutely brilliant. Where do I live, bro? I'm from India, and it's been really horrible times for us these past few races. I'm in England at the moment, just north of London, so timing's okay. I do prefer it earlier on in the day. I don't like waiting. I really do hate that, having to wait so long for the race to get going. But we only have an hour and a quarter to go. That's all we've got till this race starts. What teams do I think will be in the top 5 next year? My guess would be Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, and Alpine, maybe. Alpine have been on a steady course of slight progression a bit. We'll see what they can do. Maybe Aston Martin as well. I can't see it changing too much. I just think, unless one of the teams come up with something really, really strong. Haas, I reckon, will be 6th or 7th best, I think. F1 guys Welsh, hello. How you doing over there? The way Sainz has driven this year, Charles might have some trouble. Yeah, no, honestly, Sainz has done fantastically well. And he's proven himself to be one of the best F1 drivers on the grid, Sainz, this year. Because we know Leclerc's strong as well. Hammer's hungry now because of disqualification. Yeah, that's good. It's a real driving force in your mind. If you think you've been, a bit aggrieved, you've got to try to make up for it. I think 2020 Merc is Bay. I do like it. It's a good looking car, but I don't know. I don't like the black as much anymore. As a Verstappen fan, I think Lewis will win. He had such pace and speed. Well, that's the interesting question. That's the big question. There's 3 potential winners of today's race. I can't see Perez or Sainz doing it. I just don't think they have the pace relative to other cars in the top 3. I love the black race. I do. I love the black race suits. I agree. But I don't like the black car. The black race suits look really good, but I'm not a fan of the car too much. We're not getting onto more Brexit. Why does Brexit keep popping up in the chat? We're not discussing Brexit. Red Bull are shooting themselves in the foot because they focused on this year and not next year. Yeah, it could be I believe it's 2013 situation sort of thing again. They're pushed in a tight championship battle, maybe focus too much on this year's regulations rather than developing next year's. But look, have faith in Adrian Newey. He is an absolute genius. And currently, Red Bull have the best chassis on the grid. Whether they have the best overall package, but their actual chassis is the best on the grid. No doubt. Really sad to see Kimi leave F1. Think he's shown he could still do it at the top this year. I think Danny Rick has no chance of a championship. No, I don't anymore. He's so good though, but he's 32, maybe lost his chance. Yeah, he's had a bit of an Alonso career, been in wrong cars at wrong times, just not really been able to perform. But look, he's a very good driver, but I can't see him winning a championship. anymore, which is a shame. And Kimi as well. Kimi was having a great race yesterday until Giovinazzi and himself made contact. So, Kimi's shown that he still has it. We're going to miss Kimi. We've had Valentino Rossi doing his last MotoGP race earlier today, which is emotional enough. But I think losing Kimi from the grid is, I think he should have been gone years ago, really. But like he's still definitely there. He doesn't have the same drive he used to, same desire. But like he's still definitely got the pace and dedication. You can't falter that at all. I don't see Hamilton passing Perez. I don't know. Hamilton would have easily passed Perez yesterday. That's a big question. He has got to get past Perez quickly. That's one of the most important things. I'm a Lando fan, and I can't wait until next year. Even though he might not be able to challenge 100% for the championship next year, he definitely has proven that anything is possible. And you might be wrong. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big Lando fan as well. I know more people have joined. I followed him since karting, so it's yeah. I'd love to see him win a championship, but I can't see him winning many championships. Maybe one or two at a push with the right car. He just needs a year more, and he'll be challenging for all future championships. Yeah, I think he'll be there or thereabouts, but maybe not quite there. Please tell everyone that Lewis went from P20 to P5 because he had a faster car, a new internal combustion engine, and a new power unit, and he was quicker at straights, and everyone played safe, no fight. Yeah, but equally, I don't think many people are going to put up too much of a fight today either. Oh, we've got people in Caerphilly as well. We've got a lot of Welsh in the chat. How are you guys doing? Are you talking about the Silver Arrows? I'd much like the Silver Arrows. I'm fairly sure he's talking about the Silver Arrows. Saksham. Give us a link. We can donate to your food. I don't think that's... I'm all good. I'm all good. Until I get to a Actually, this is a good time to plug. Hey, guys, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely amazing. We're on the road to 1,000, absolutely, at the moment. It'd be great. Absolutely mean the world to me if we could hit 1,000 subs. That would be absolutely crazy. Merck insinuated they will keep the black suits for next year. Yeah, I like the black suits. I just like the silver livery. I'm trying to get for everyone. It's good. I'm going to be honest. If Max wins this year and the drivers, I don't think they will be too sad about not being as competitive next year. Look, yeah, at the end of the day, they want to win the championships, and it's a calculated risk if they put more money into this year. I think next year no Silverstone because of Brexit. I don't think that's the case because we do race in many countries outside the EU. Do you think Seb can win a championship? Not anymore, gonna be honest. I can't see it happening. He's won a championship, yeah, more than one in fact, yeah. He's won his 4 championships, but I can't see him win another one. They have the best package by a long shot. The reason Lewis and Merck in the championship is because it's Lewis Hamilton, which is debatably the greatest of all time. Yeah, Lewis is debatably the best of all time, but honestly, I think the cars are pretty even this year. Red Bull have the best chassis, so at downforce reliant tracks, we see... Oh, hello Reaper, back in the chat, hello. Yeah, downforce reliant tracks, more aero reliant. That's why Red Bull have been more powerful, and engine tracks, we see the Mercedes more powerful because they've got a better engine. Speaking of Giovinazzi, do you think he's getting enough chance in F1 with Alfa, or is he gone? Guan Yu Zhou will be replacing him. That's as good as confirmed at this point. There's so much money behind Zhou, and there's so much financial backing, you just wouldn't turn it down. Red Bull will make Perez hold up Lewis, in my opinion. They'll try, but without DRS, Lewis is going to get past pretty easily, I imagine. Verstappen will take lead into turn 1. Yeah, I think that's pretty likely. Kimi in his prime was great. Yeah, I was a big fan of Kimi in his prime as well. I've only really seen it in season reviews because I was a little bit too young to see prime Kimi, but yeah, he was absolutely great. What's your favourite livery of any car? On the grid at the moment, it's probably... Oh, when I saw it in person, I've got to say the Alpine. It looks great on TV, but in person as well, it looks really nice. My favourite livery of all time, though, is going to be the Vodafone McLaren Mercedes liveries. I grew up adoring those. Good job, definitely a sub. Thank you so much. It means the world. When Hamilton won with McLaren, I forgot the year, but that car, 2008, that sign was slick. Yeah, it did look very nice. 2018 Ferrari was nice as well. I like that. Who do you think would win the race today? I would, if I was a betting man, I would put money on Verstappen, but it's marginal. It could be Verstappen, Bottas, or Hamilton, depending on how the race unfolds with strategy and how easily Lewis can make his way through the field. Because I think Lewis is in a league of his own at the moment. He was on pole by 4/10, so I just think he's just absolutely crazy. Who do you think will win the race? Oh, yeah, I've read that one. If you were Red Bull, would you want the Driver or Constructors Championship? Both, but I'd prioritise the drivers because you get more marketing from it. If you were Red Bull, would you... I'm reading the same questions. No, Schumacher is for sure the GOAT. I assume you mean Michael. Can Aston Martin come up next year? Honestly, I want Seb to win the championship again. I'd like to see Seb back up there competing, but I don't see it. I'm sorry, I really don't see it. Oh god, Bottas would murder Zhou. Yeah, I think Bottas is comfortably going to beat Guan Yu. It kills me how Max wears the same outfit every race. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. That might happen at any moment. I can feel it coming on. So, jump scare warning. Better than what Lewis wears. Hoping for another Perez v Hamilton. Yeah, potentially. I think it could be quite short-lived, though. If Verstappen takes the lead in turn 1, he'll win, given he's an okay strat. And, yeah, Red Bull are absolute beasts in the pit stops. If Max gets ahead of Bottas, I can't see Bottas keeping with him. Any guesses who wins the race at Qatar? My money would be on Verstappen. I think that should be a Red Bull track, Qatar. On the face of it, it's very aerodynamically dependent. No long straights, really. But we've been wrong so many times this season, you know. We've come into races thinking, oh yeah, this should comfortably be a X car track, and then it's Y car's track. It swings. It really does. The year Haas had a black car, it looked cool. Yeah, I like the Rich Energy livery. Shame Rich Energy were Rich Energy, but it was a nice livery. I don't see Lewis making it up further than P4, P3. I think Lewis he'll be on the podium, I imagine. Depending on how his start goes. If he can get up into P7 at the start, I think he can definitely win the race. But if he's down in P10, P11, P12, he's got no chance. Can we talk about the Red Bull Japan livery and the Monaco Golf livery? Oh, the Red Bull Japan livery, lovely. Obviously racing in Istanbul instead, but great livery. And the McLaren Golf. Oh, I have the McLaren team jacket from that race. I love that jacket. It's such a nice looking car. I think I have a video on this channel actually. At silting the car in a casing, and I think I got I know I uploaded a video of that. Would you like to see Porsche or Volkswagen in F1? I would, but as teams. I can't. There was rumours about like Porsche and Audi coming in as engine suppliers or taking over a team. I just can't get excited for that. I want there to be 24 cars on the F1 grid again. I think that's the best number. I can't see any of them coming in actual teams, though. That's the thing. I'd love to see them come in as teams, but I can't see it. What else are we seeing? What are your predictions for today's race? Realistically, today I'm thinking it's going to be Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas. But it could be either of those three winning. It really could, depending on Hamilton's start, really. Two separate questions. Who do you think is the most skilled driver of all time, and who do you think is the best all-round driver of all time? Oh god, that's such an open question. I don't think it's one that we can really fairly answer. I think you'd have to go era by era, because there's different skills now compared to, you know, cars in the 50s, different skills to the 60s, different skills to the 70s, and so on. You know, I think if you put Senna in an F1 car today, he probably doesn't do as well, or he might do better. You know, I don't think you can really categorically answer that. The golf jacket's beautiful, but I couldn't get it because I broke. Yeah, I was broke after buying it. Porsche surely come in an engine, can't become a team. Yeah, no, Porsche won't become a team. Do you think that Perez could help Max by crashing with Valtteri? Not at this race, but in future races. A bit of tactical warfare, I think you're getting at. It's potentially possible. We've seen drivers collide before between the top teams earlier on in the season, so you know, who's to say it doesn't happen in the future. Smash the like button, guys. Oh, absolutely. You've just got... I'm reading the chat and you've just got me to plug myself then. But yeah, go on, go do it. Well, so Lewis most probably will get P2 unless Bottas/Max make mistake. Ham had the pace all weekend. Yeah, I just think it'll be Lewis P2. For people that say Lewis got pole because of DRS infringement, DRS problem actually decreased performance. I don't think it would have over... It was so marginal. I don't think it had any real effect on performance at all, to be honest. It was such a marginal thing. We're talking 0.2 millimeters, 1/5 of a millimeter. Who's my favourite driver right now? Lando. I know I've said this and people have been here a while. We've heard it loads of times, but I've followed him since karting, so just to even see him in F1 is absolutely amazing. It's not getting more true by repeating it. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about. Don't see it happening until 2025 further. What are your thoughts on Lewis's sprint race? He did an absolutely brilliant job. I think by positions gained per kilometre, it was the greatest comeback drive statistically of all time. I think that's just a purely numbers-based stat. I wouldn't say it was the greatest comeback of all time. But statistically it was. Toto even said that a team is joining for publicity and it would be bad as they will have a lot of expectations and that you have to be in sport for a while to start winning. You do, and you need some really experienced team members behind you and engineers. Do you think Hamilton and Verstappen will crash at all in the remaining races? Oh, that's such a hard one. That's a real hard one. Honestly, it depends. It just depends if they're on track racing each other. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Because I wouldn't have said they'd have crashed at Monza until I saw them side by side at the pit lane. The second they go side by side through turn 1, I'm thinking, okay, they've crashed. And they did. So, DRS wouldn't affect performance. No, it was really marginal again. Was Raikkonen got a pit lane start? Haven't actually seen that. I know there was contact, obviously, with Giovinazzi, so they probably have some repairs to do and realise it was bad. Bad thing. But honestly, I made this grid graphic at 2 o'clock using the confirmed grid, so obviously that's a fairly new thing that's just come up. 1 hour to race. We are 50 minutes away from lights out, and you know it's all getting a little bit tense now. Is it 58 minutes even? 58 minutes with 1 hour off. I can't read. So yeah, only an hour to go. Everyone has the memory of a goldfish on the internet. There was at least one Merc on the front run the last 2 races, but they still didn't win them. Monza 2021, Max or Lewis's fault? Honestly, I'd have gone racing incident. However, if I was in a championship battle and I was either of them, I'd have backed out. Because obviously you just don't want to end in a crash. That's the thing. Do you think Bottas and Verstappen are going to make contact into the first turn? No, I don't. I think they're going to be pretty safe. Because both of them need a good finish. If Lewis wins this championship, you think he could leave like Nico? No, I think he's set for next year. Lewis will be there next year. I think he personally just wants to see the new regulations and give him a drive for himself. If Lewis wins, fair. What's that? All fair too. But yeah. That's all really good. And again, just, you know, I give myself, you know, every half hour I'm allowed to say it. If you could just, you know, casually subscribe to the channel, that would mean the absolute world to me because we're on the road to 1,000 subs. And that would, like, that's just absolutely crazy if that were to happen. So, I mean, look, we've already got 608 now. So, you know, everyone's doing really good. Yo, Beacon, hello, George. How you doing? Loved your... actually, yeah, everyone, I'm going to give a quick plug. George Morgan in the comments. They are doing... some live commentary of the race. So if you don't have access to the race, go watch them. They're going to be doing some live commentary. And they've got a great broadcast team going. So, yeah, all brilliant people. So go give them a watch. They're both quite sensible, so I suspect turn 1 will be relatively relaxed. I can't see a crash between them. They've both got so much to fight for. I don't see a dramatic race today, something boring like 2008. I don't know. I mean, we're going to have at least an interesting start because Lewis has got to work his way up through the grid. So... you know, we're at least going to have some interesting stuff going on. Ferrari on the podium for you. I don't see it unless there's an incident between Verstappen and Bottas at some point. I really can't see a Ferrari on the podium, I'm afraid. Probably not going to happen, but wish Carlos can keep the podium position. Yeah, like I say, I think it will happen if something dramatic happens for sure, but it'll be difficult. Has Lewis entered in any new contract with Mercedes? He's there for next year. Yeah, he's contracted to drive for next year. If you change your predictions to Hamilton winning today, I'll subscribe. Look, he absolutely can. And you know, like I say, honestly, it's freeway at the moment. It could be Bottas, Verstappen, or Hamilton. I really don't know. It's marginal between Verstappen and Hamilton. I'd say they're the two most likely. I just can't see Bottas beating Verstappen in a whole race. If Max runs Bottas wide, Sainz might do a cheeky run up the inside. Absolutely. And we could see a situation where the pole sitter's down in P3 again. If you change your predictions to Hamilton, I will unsubscribe. Okay, that's why I'm not giving a concrete answer anymore. It's one of those three. Was joking. 2008 was that, yeah. Glockton. You're doing a good job here for the F1 nerds. Absolutely. Absolutely love the F1 nerds. We're all great. I see you guys great in the chat. Absolutely brilliant. It's a bit easier to keep up to date because when we had 1,000 yesterday, I physically could not keep up with the chat. That was absolutely mental. Bit happy to have a bit more of a chill stream going today. The thing is, whenever Verstappen and Hamilton are battling, both don't want to back out, and so that's why they crash. But knowing that Hamilton has nothing to lose, Hamilton will go full send. Oh God, he will. If Hamilton sees Max today, he is absolutely going for it. You know, think the mentality here. We have, you know, the mentality of Lewis at the moment is he's just lost out on pole, a dominant pole position lap. He's gone from P20 up into P5, been knocked back down to P10 again. And he's now got to push for this championship. He knows he needs to gain. Absolutely, Lewis is going to go for it today. And we could see a situation where, for the first time ever, Max backs out. You wouldn't have expected it, but we could genuinely see Max back out of a battle with a championship rival today because he's got so much more to lose. Carlos P3, I'm really sorry. I simply can't see it without a crash. Best pre-race show. It absolutely is, isn't it? Thank you. Yep, he's got to be there to take advantage, so it's going to be a first lap thing. Yeah, most of Lewis's race relies on the first lap. Is there any chance that Verstappen has to take another ICE? I don't think so to the end of the season. I think they're pretty safe now. They have 2 in the pool. Hammer time all day today. Absolutely, we're going to see a lot of hammer time, and it's going to be a really, really interesting race because he's got a lot to fight for. A lot indeed. Yeah, that pre-race interview was bizarre. Do you think the next year we could see a battle between more drivers like 2010? Well, I absolutely hope so. I want a 2010/2012 situation again. I massively fingers crossed for that. I hope everyone's sort of on even pegging, and it's just going to be a really close, tightly fought battle. That'd be amazing to see Max yield. I don't think it's anything anyone's seen before, so it'll be interesting for sure. But I can see it from this point in the season. He might let Lewis go. He'll still put up a fight, but you know I can see it. You know, a little bit less risk because he has a championship lead now. He's not the hunter; he's the hunted. Lewis is starting on the left of the track, so he's going to make up so many places into turn 1. I mean, I don't know. He was on the outside at turn 1 last time, and he was able to make 4. So, if he takes the outside line, I think is the strongest through turn 1. What do you think? I think Ham has a real chance if we get a safety car. Well-timed safety car will bring Hamilton right into the race, even if he's slow to get past the midfielders. I think there'll be a crash or a bit of a bump. Potentially, I honestly, just part of my mind can see someone ploughing into Lewis at turn 1 and just the absolute carnage that will follow. Have you seen how relaxed Lewis is today? Looks like he's on top of the world. Yeah, he's got a real mojo. He's got a momentum. And I think this weekend, pace-wise, with the car and driver combination, he is in a class of his own. The pace he showed yesterday was just phenomenal. And Max was very clearly not willing to take too much of a risk either because, you know, he's got the championship lead. He's got more to lose. Well, how much of a chance of a safety car you think? I can't... I said this earlier in the stream, I really don't think there's going to be a safety car. To be honest, I'm not particularly sure there will be. Do you think this season was one of the best title battles? I don't know if we can call it that. Up until this point, it's been a great title fight. And in the middle of the season, it looked like it was going to be one of the classics. But, I mean, if Verstappen ends up winning this race with, winning this championship with over, a race to go, I don't think it will be. It's probably 2 of the best drivers going for a championship for a while. But best battle in terms of quality, maybe not. Do you think this season was one about me, loving Verstappen, also me, Lando? Absolutely. Honestly, the amount of times you do that at Silverstone is Lando. Destroyed my throat. If Verstappen wins, then is it game over for Lewis? I think so. In all honesty, I do think so. Surprised by it, to be honest. I haven't seen him this relaxed in a long time. No, he's got a real mojo, real swagger. Favourite race this year? I was at Silverstone. It was a brilliant race, great atmosphere. And I've never heard anything louder than when Hamilton overtook Leclerc at the end. That was... I don't think my ears have recovered from that. I'm curious how much aggressive and risk-taking Verstappen will be against Bottas if Mercedes will block Red Bulls, considering the advantage Max has in points if Lewis doesn't catch up. Bottas is going to be an instrumental part in the race if he can keep Verstappen behind him, but I just see Bottas, he may lead for the first 20 laps or so. We get 20, 30, 40 laps. We get to the pit period, Max undercuts him. I can just see that happening. What about the safety car? I mean, it is an old-style track with a spin at the wrong part of the track. You can easily have... Yeah, no, look, we can easily have a safety car. I just don't see one happening. If I was, again, to bet on it. But, you know, look, there's very much potential for a safety car. All it needs is a crash, and you've got a safety car. Do you think Verstappen is going to get a DNF in today's race or in the near future? I don't know. I really genuinely don't know. Brazilian track in a nutshell. I'm moving up and down side to side like a roller coaster. Absolutely, the compressions on this track are brilliant. Is that time until lights out? Yes, it is. We are 48 minutes away from lights out, and away we go. At which point I will end the stream. I'll probably end with about 5 minutes to go, and I'll send you all George Morgan's way because he's someone I've worked with in the past, and I know they're starting this out. They're doing some race streams, alternative commentary stuff, so. I'll send you his way. You might like the stuff he does. He's a brilliant commentator. And he's got another brilliant commentator in Jack with him. So, see, I like this. So, you know, all the F1 esports commentators, we're tight. we're not. But, so I feel like this season is like 2018, but more on the line as Ham is going for a world record 8th title. And Max has that energy that he brings when racing that just hypes everything up. Yeah, look, absolutely. Yeah. Brazilian track in a nutshell. Move up. Yeah, yep. Is that time for lights out? Yes. Dutch fans yelling. British fans yelling. Checo's dad. Did you see Massa with that lady? Not sure who she was doing interviews. She was so tall. Obviously. Oh, Rosanna Tennant. Yeah, she is rather tall. Obviously, Massa just made me laugh. Yeah, Massa's not the tallest man in the world, and Rosanna Tennant is very nearly the tallest woman in the world. So. How do you think George Muscle will do? I assume that's also correct, or just a great nickname for him. We'll do in the Mercedes next year. I think he has the potential to out-qualify Lewis, because qualifying seems to be one of his strong points, but his race pace isn't quite as strong. So I think he might get out-raced and outscored by Lewis over the course of the season next year, but maybe not out-qualified. He might be able to out-qualify Lewis, maybe. Can Lewis win an 8th title? He absolutely can, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It all depends on today, to be honest, or if Red Bull have a DNF at any point. Perez will also play a very important role with keeping Hamilton behind. I hope he can manage to do that. I don't know if he can. That's the thing. I really don't know if Perez will be able to, because Lewis was so much quicker yesterday. A couple more laps in that sprint race, and I think he'd have been passed. I wish we saw Yuki next to Shaq. Oh my god. That on the podium would have been something. That would have been really something. It was not correct. Oh no, it's just a great nickname. We'll call him George Muscle from now on. Patronus, yeah. Stronger than best qualifier ever. Yeah, look, Lewis is a fantastic qualifier, but and you know he put in a phenomenal lap yesterday. But look, he's aging, and you lose some tenths. But his race pace is still there. He's still very consistent and got phenomenal race pace. But George does seem to be something quite special in qualifying. So that's the thing. Is it game over for Lewis if he makes contact with someone? Yes, I imagine so. Ooh, what's my favourite part of this track? Well, that's great. I like Jug Sao through the penultimate corner. That's my, or at least the final actual corner on the track, really. I love that corner. Just as you start rising up the hill, then you've got some slipstream. You get the DRS a little bit later on down the straight. Then the long runs turn 1. I think that's probably my favourite part is sector 3. I do like that. I think Perez can hold off Hamilton for 2 to 3 laps possibly, but no longer. I like him, but he is just a solid driver, nothing more. And I think you've got that pretty nailed on. I think everyone likes Checo. I would love to see him do well, but you know he's not on the same level as Hamilton and Verstappen. Probably more Bottas, but he's just not quite there. Max Crashstappen, I don't know. He hasn't done that for a while. I don't think we'll see him doing it for a bit either. If Lewis doesn't win this championship, then next year I think Lewis will win, especially since we saw that 2022 engine can do in Monza in Bottas's car. Nikita Mazepin, we've just got nicknames going now for drivers. Hamilton was shooting past yesterday. He was. I think Hamilton, a couple more laps, he'd have flown past Perez quite comfortably. Max crashed some years ago a lot, sure, but not at this stage. No, I said earlier on the stream as well, you know, Max is he's really ironed out the mistakes that he used to make in his aggression. Do you think Bottas will be aggressive enough to bother Verstappen? I don't know if it's to do with being aggressive. Is Bottas a quick enough driver to hold off Max? And I have to be honest, I can't comfortably say yes to that. Apart from Mazepin, who's the most hated driver then? Well, I did this a while ago, actually. We had this thing called, like, Formula Data, where I got a bunch of F1 fans to do polls based on, like, your opinion of a driver. And I think the lowest, based on performance and, like, general likability. And Bottas was actually the second lowest. I think that might have changed recently. Bottas hasn't been quite as poor this season, so I think it's probably changed. Who should take Checo's seat after he retires? Oh, that's a great question. It'll be someone coming up and coming in the Red Bull Junior Academy, I'm sure. Same cars, who wins between Lewis and Max? That's such a difficult question. That's so hard. I can't distinguish them. I honestly think they're about there. What are my opinions on Paul di Resta? I do not like Paul di Resta. Great driver. I loved him as a driver. I actually met him before. He's a really nice guy. I can't, as a pundit, I can't get behind him too much. Bottas has terrible luck. He does. He's had some bad luck, but equally his pace just isn't. It's not quite there. It's not the same. It's hard to look good going against a 7-time world champion. Absolutely. I still remember when Yuki said when he was suppressed that he's driving for them next year, considering how he crashed. Surprised. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I am as well, but they don't really have a replacement at the moment. There's still some junior drivers up and coming, but they need another year in F3, F2 just to sort of mature. Why isn't Pierre Gasly moved into the top teams? There's not really a spot for him, and obviously he's not going to end up back at Red Bull, because I don't think Dr. Helmut Marko would want to swallow his pride on that one. Plus, to be fair, Gasly was pretty poor at Red Bull. I remember being surprised at Silverstone that he was able to keep up with the Ferraris in 2019. So, you know, Gasly was... You know, it's easy to say, yeah, he's doing pretty well in the AlphaTauri at the moment, but he really wasn't on pace at Red Bull. Why isn't Pierre Gasly... okay, I know that's why I asked. It's too hard to tell. Yuki's got money. Yeah, Yuki has a lot of financial backing. But yeah, no, honestly, it is hard. It's too close to call between Max and Lewis. I honestly think it would just come down to who did well in each race. It'd be a race-by-race basis. What do you think about Russell and Hamilton next year? Any predictions? Yeah, as I said earlier on before, I think it's most likely to be maybe Russell just about able to out-qualify Lewis over the season. Like 12-11 or something like that. That would be really marginal. But I think Lewis should outrace and outscore him over the course of a whole season. Bottas was embarrassing at the start last race. Yeah, that was really poor. He left the door wide open on the outside, the better line for Max, and yeah, basically gave Max the win there. So yeah, that was a big mistake from Bottas. What was we saying? Russell going to give Hamilton a run for his money, just like Verstappen. Yeah, I think so. It's going to be close. It's going to be a good battle. Gasly to replace Fernando at Alpine. Okay, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I can see him there. Maybe Alfa Romeo in a couple of years' time as well. I can't see him ever ending up in a top team again though. personally. Ooh, getting close, drivers getting in the cars. Martin's grid walk. Yeah, absolutely. We are. I'll only keep going for another 10, 15 minutes or so, and then I'll hand you guys over to well, either the broadcast for the race that you actually are going to watch, or alternatively the alternate commentary of George Morgan and his team. I'll be putting that in the comments because yeah, they're a great team of guys, and I'm sure they're going to put on a great broadcast. If you don't have access to a live feed of the race, I'd recommend you watch those guys for some live commentary because they're absolutely phenomenal. Don't Ocon and Gasly have beef? Yes, a little bit. Yeah, they're not the best friends in the world, but you know they don't hate each other by any means. It's nothing that's going to stop them being teammates and potentially successful as teammates. Do you think Giovinazzi will keep his seat? If not, who will take it? No, and it will be Guan Yu Zhou that takes the other Alfa Romeo seat alongside Bottas. And I fully expect Bottas to absolutely slaughter Guan Yu over the course of the season. Yeah, I'd imagine so. And yeah, just as we're approaching the end, I'm going to very cheekily ask for a subscription again. If you're not subscribed and you've just joined the stream recently, we're on the road to 1,000, and it would mean the absolute world to me if we get anywhere near it before the end of the season. That would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, just if you could, that would be absolutely. You don't even need to carry on watching. Just make my number go up. It makes me happy. So Verstappen said that he isn't in Drive to Survive because he doesn't like what it is doing to the sport and how they portray it. Yeah, you see, it's complicated with Drive to Survive because it's either it's probably one of the biggest things for Formula One marketing for decades, and it's brought so many new fans into the sport. But equally, a lot of those fans bring in a dramatized version of F1 that doesn't exist, which tends to conflict with the hardcore purist fans quite a lot. How do I think Bottas will do in Alpha? I think he'll be all right. He should beat Guan Yu Zhou fairly comfortably. It should be in the lower end of the points, I imagine. Obviously, I want to do as much coverage of pre-season testing as possible. That's sort of been my I've wanted to do that for a long time, so I can't wait to get that going. But we've got to wait till late February for that. How do you think Bottas will do in Alpha? I've read that one. Who do you think is going to win to the Constructors? I think Red Bull. Do I think Red Bull? I thought Red Bull, but I don't know. I think a lot of this is going to hinge on what happens today. I think I've missed a couple of comments. Who do you think is going to win the Constructors? I think Gasly will end up at Ferrari or McLaren. I don't know. Maybe McLaren. I can't see him at Ferrari. Because Ferrari do have some juniors. I'm just hoping the rise in F1 doesn't lead to less motorsport jobs. Yeah, absolutely. Because I know you're doing a similar course to me, as we discussed yesterday. Yeah. I'd like F1 to become really niche for a couple of years, just so I can get a job first, get hired, and then it can become really popular again. Is you already confirmed? He's not officially confirmed, but there was photos of a Chinese Alfa Romeo dealership congratulating Guan Yu on becoming the first Chinese Formula One driver. This is a turning point for Lewis. It's going to be total domination from now on. I don't think it will, guys. We have Qatar coming up. That's most likely to be a Red Bull track. There's no real long straights. I think it's good. You don't want to work an F1 pass? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Is Joe already confirmed officially? Yeah, I've read that one. This is the turning point for Lewis. Bottas going to outperform. Yeah, there's way too much going on. Absolutely. I don't want to be anyone who's going to the track and travelling the world. As glamorous as that seems, it's not. I'll happily sit, for example, at Brackley over my weekend and do that instead. Much prefer rally or sports cars? Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking to hopefully do some of that over the next couple of years as well. Okay, thanks. We'll leave now. Enjoy the race. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Florian. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely love you guys being in the chat. And hope you all enjoy the race. I want to work in F1. Yeah, I think quite a few people want to work in F1. Bye-bye. Going to go enjoy the race. Yeah, okay, see you, Steph. Hopefully you enjoy the race or lower series or open wheelers. Yeah, absolutely. Have a good one, pal. Yeah. Did you know that Mercedes has won at Russia since 1930? Yes. Yes, Mercedes are undefeated at Russia. Bye, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, see ya. See you, Nolan. Thank you, guys. You've been great in the chat. Red Bull Racing now have options on Perez, Gasly and Albon for 2023. I think whoever does the best job in 2022 will get a seat next to Max. Yeah, potentially. Bye, thank you for keeping us entertained. Yeah, see you guys if you are heading off. I'll keep going for literally 5 more minutes. I'll go till we hit 30 minutes too. We have the cars out on track at the moment. They are circulating as they are making their way to the grid. Obviously, they're not using any of the tyres they're actually going to be using for the race. There's a lot of softs on at the moment, just for the reconnaissance laps. Any other socials apart from Twitter? Not really. It's mostly just the YouTube and the Twitter that I use. I have a private Instagram, but that's more for just people I know. Hello from Germany. Keep racing. Yeah. Hello. Good to see people. All actually, yeah. Go on. While we still have quite a few people here, before everyone heads off. Where are you all from? Where's everyone watching from? I know we've got quite a few from Wales. We've got some from Germany, some from India. Where's everyone from? And also, if you didn't know, there's a poll going on in the chat at the moment. Last call for the to vote in the poll. I thought we were done. Yes, more of the best pre-race show. Thank you. Yeah, we'll keep going for a couple more minutes. Just still half past. Before Max retires, do you think he'll be in any other teams? I don't know. Maybe a Ferrari or a Mercedes if there's a big money offer in 5 or 6 years' time. South Africa, hello from South Africa then. Hello. Germany, from Neustadt at the Wienerroute. I see, my German is it's absolutely top class. I apologise for butchering those horrifically. Where to watch F1 free? Honestly, there's not many great places to watch it for free. I'm going to leave a link in a minute for the live coverage from George Morgan TV YouTube channel. They're going to be broadcasting the race, and there's some absolutely fantastic commentators. I'm sure you guys will love them. They're going to be doing a live commentary of the whole thing. So if you can't get a feed, a live video, then I think that's the best thing to do. We've got more South Africa. Ex-Aussie living in Essex. Beth, hello. We've got India as well. So yeah, hello to everyone in India. That's a lot of people, to be fair. But yeah, we'll keep going for just another 3 minutes or so. So we're just rounding off. We see Max Verstappen at the moment as well, just circulating. I think most drivers are just finding their way back. We've got Jamaica as well from Cool Moody. Hello. So right, we're going to round off the. Come on, let's get this poll to 300 votes. We need 4 more votes on the poll, and I'll close it off. 4 more votes. I want to round it off at 300. Come on, we can do it. If you haven't voted for who is going to win the race in the poll in the chat, do that now, and then we'll end it off when we get to 300 votes. 298, come on, 2 more of you, come on. As we have most of the cars now stopping off into the grid, into their grid spots as well. 299, come on, 1 more of you. Who's going to be the 300th? We're just waiting for 1 more. Come on, 1 more of you. Watch it just stay at 299 now. Just out of spite, no one's going to vote. That's going to really annoy me if we don't get to 300. Yeah, here we go. We're at 300. There we go. Right, so we're going to end off the poll now. So here we go. So the poll ended off with Verstappen on 55%, Hamilton on 31%, Bottas on 11%, and Perez only getting 1% in the end. So not a lot of people thinking Perez has too much of a chance after that sprint race where he didn't have the best pace in the world. What do I think of Hamilton's chances today? I'm thinking it's most likely dependent on his start. If he gets a good start up into P7 or so, he can definitely go on to win the race. If he's bogged down in P9 to P13, 14, I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, look, we're gearing up into the race now. We'll keep going for just another minute or so. But honestly, guys, I hope you'll enjoy the race so much. Interesting to see. Verstappen, 55%. People think he's going to win the race. So we have over 160 votes or so for Verstappen to win the race. Will that be right? Will that be wrong? I might be back for the post-race show. We'll have to see. Easy podium for Hamilton. It should be an easy podium. He should be able to get on the podium, absolutely. Should be P2, P3 at worst. But depends if he can go on to claim the win. Safety car at the right time is going to be one of the most important things in this race. What else have we got? Yeah, anyone got any last questions? We're going to round off in just over a minute or so. So if anyone, any last questions you want to get out there, and I'll leave you all to enjoy the race because, hopefully it's going to be a real good one. Might be a Red Bull 1-3. Absolutely, it could well be. But I do see Hamilton beating Perez out there today. I think it quite likely. At RaceBeacon, thank you for these streams. Would love to chat away from here. Yeah, no, thank you. Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, if you just, my DMs are always open on Twitter if you ever want to talk about anything at all. Yeah, so quick plug. My Twitter's at VSG_beacon. And my, well, basically, if you guys could subscribe to the channel, that'd mean the absolute world to me. Because like I say, we're slowly approaching 1,000 subs. Well, rapidly, actually. We were on 200 yesterday, and now we're on about 600 and something odd. So that's absolutely mental. You guys are crazy. Any changes of rain or any chance of rain? No, unfortunately not. I do have a Discord. I'll get my Discord. You know what? I'll get my Discord for you if you've got that. I can't remember the numbers. I think it's 735. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to check my Discord name. There we go. There's my Discord. If anyone wants that, here's my Twitter. If anyone wants that, I will add these in a graphic. But I made these graphics that are currently on screen at about 2 o'clock last night. When is the race start? You can see it in the bottom left. 25 minutes time. 29 minutes time. I can't read because it's in a really small screen in the top left. Yeah, so 29 minutes till race starts, till lights out, and away we go. So yeah, like I say, any last questions at all, don't hesitate to just quickly chuck them my way before we round off fully. And yeah, please do subscribe. It would genuinely mean the world to me. Thank you, bro. Yeah, thank you, Vishnu. You've been absolutely great in the chat as well. All you guys have been great in the chat today. I'm just going to quickly give a link to another stream that might be going on because I just really do highly recommend you watch it. It basically, if you guys don't have a video of the stream or of the F1 race itself, if you don't have the video, I'm going to quickly give you a link here, and I'm gonna. And you guys can watch it. This is just a way, basically, look, if you don't have a stream for the race, here you go. There you go. Your personal favourite today? I can't put money on either. It's a three-way fight between Verstappen, Bottas, and Hamilton. If Hamilton gets a good start, just for the sake of excitement, I'm going to say him. But if not, it's going to be a Verstappen win, I imagine. So there's a link in the chat for anyone. If you don't have access to a stream today, go watch that. They're going to be doing some live commentary. Really great guys. You've got some high esports commentators there, high level. Do you want links to the Discord and Twitter or links to that YouTube video? I'm not sure what you mean, Alawi. But yeah, guys, thank you. Honestly, thank you all so much for being in the stream today. You've all done. I was about to say you've all done a great job. No, you've all been brilliant in the chat. So, thank you guys a lot. I'm hoping for another collision, Max and Hamilton. Well, like I say, it's statistically 100% chance in the sprint races so far. So. F1 TV is good, even though it might be a bit much for some people. But I personally think it's worth it if you watch F1. Yeah, if you're really into F1 TV is worth it for sure. But yeah, like I said, if you don't have a stream or you can't find one, that's a great live commentary for you to have a look at. So yeah, okay, thank you guys. I'm gonna round off because I can see that the viewer count's slowly going down anyway. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, thank you, Safiyaj. So I really do apologise. Safrajif. I'm going to just stop trying to say names that I can't pronounce. But yeah, no. Yeah, thank you so much. So, yeah. I hope you guys all enjoy guys too. Thank you, Nolan. Yeah. Should be a good race. Absolutely. Really love the stream. Yeah, thank you, Mighty Gaming. Enjoyed having you guys in the chat as well and talking to you all. All been great. Like I say, I might come on and do some post-race stuff, but I do have a commentary to do later tonight. So I'm not entirely sure if I will be doing it. And if I do, it might be for a short period of time. But, you know, I might definitely come on for a bit of initial post-race reaction, just to see. Just depending on what happens, really, if it's too exciting. Discord, I haven't got a link to my Discord, but the Discord name is here. That's the Discord name. Verham Per is my prediction for Sander. Yes, definitely possible, absolutely possible. I think it more likely Verham Bot, but yeah, that's yeah. Very good. Okay, guys. Yeah, like I'm actually going to round off the stream now because Martin's doing this grid walk, and you can never miss Martin's grid walk. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you later, or in a future stream in general. So yeah, we've got a lot of good content coming our way. I might do a video as well on how to improve the sprint races. We've got a couple of good ideas for that, and maybe with someone else as well. So I'll bring it up in another stream. Actually, I've got another thing that would be good for a suggestion is if I do this with other people as well, because I do know quite a few other quote F1 pundits who I could get in for a pre-race stream. Yeah, I'm doubting if it'll be Perez or Bottas. Yeah, I think it more likely Bottas. But if Perez can clear signs quickly, then he's got every chance. Okay, so I am actually I'm so bad at this. I hate ending off the stream. I don't like saying goodbye to you all. I keep doing this. I'll say, I'm going to end now and keep going for 10 minutes. So I am actually going to end the stream. So like I say, thank you guys so much. You've all been brilliant. And hopefully I'll see you in a future stream. Adios and enjoy the race.